Hey YouTube, this will be take two. I just tried to do this video, and my head was so scattered because there's so many subjects that I piled up on top of each other. I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So take two. I want to talk about something that happened on Pose yesterday. Right? Not I don't want to recap the whole show, but I want to talk about a specific thing. That's this incident, this scene where there's several scenes actually where the girl, the primary character, what's her name? Primary character. She wanted to go in this gay bar. First, her and a girlfriend. She was trying to talk this girl into joining her house, right? Blanca. Blanca and this other girl, who was a part of Miss Woman's house. She wants to try to talk her out of that house, right? So they stopped in to have a drink at the bar. These people would not serve them. Now, these are not straight people. This is not, no, honey. Gay people. And it had me thinking. I mean, I know the gay community has always been very separatist. They, as far back as I can remember, in my experience, they've always been separatists. Definitely around racial lines, but even amongst themselves, even amongst the all-white communities, they still tend to separate and clique with different cliques, right? It's always been a part of this experience. I live here in San Francisco, where there's lots of bars and all that kind of stuff. And just to be clear, I haven't been to bars in years. I haven't been there, definitely not since I've been clean, but even before I got clean, there was years before, since I was hanging out in bars. I did it in my early 20s. I loved it at the time. It was what was going on at the time, but okay. This whole point of this video is to try to stay focused. Okay. So, Blanca and her girlfriend are refused service in this gay bar, right? Some asshole comes by them and says, this is not Halloween night. And she makes it a point. She's going to come back to this bar until she's treated with respect. So now, as an African-American man, I was always in tune to how they treated black people and so forth. And back in the 70s, and up until very recently, black people were treated differently in these bars. Most gay ghettos, most big cities have a gay neighborhood and all that. They're generally speaking white gay men. Now we're calling ourselves this coalition of LGBT, but really all you see is the G, gay men, meaning specifically white gay men. That's what you generally find. You go to a gay ghetto. I live here in the Castro. It's still predominantly white men. So you wonder, where are all these other letters at? Where? First of all, half the population are women. So where are the women? You don't see that many. You don't see that many now. You see virtually none in the 70s, early 80s. But and where are the trans people? And particularly where the bisexual people, because they really get shit on by the LGBT community because they feel like they are confused people. If they're bisexual, they say, "Oh, what are you? You're faking. Oh, you're a fraud. You're a phony," because they feel like you should be either gay or straight. So these communities are dominated by white gay men. Now, I'm not a racial type person, so I'm not here just to ride on people. I just want to point out something though I thought was kind of disturbing about this Pose episode. Okay, so they won't serve her. Now, I do remember when I was clubbing, I didn't see that many trans people unless they had a show at that bar. Now, there were many bars, gay bars, who had drag shows, right? Now, these girls were treated very well there. They were the star of the show. You know what I mean? But there's always been there's always been such an emphasis on bars and going out and things like that in the gay community that they separated. You may have a bar that has drag shows. You may have a bar where everybody is big. They call them bear community. Next door to that bar, you'll have a bar that everybody is into this leather look. and it's just a look. They're just gay boys playing dress up. They're going to be, I'll go, all right, I'm messing up already. I'm about to finish some folk. But many times when I was peeking in the conversations, there was no difference. It's just clothing. But all different kind of people. For years and years and years here in San Francisco, they had one black bar in Castro. And all the black folk went there. Right? Primarily because they want to be with other people like themselves. Nobody wants to just be the only black person in the bar. Not because it feels so weird to be the only black person, but because no one was paying you no mind. They weren't interested in you. They didn't go there to that bar to meet you. Right? But I never thought about the plight of others. Never thought about the plight of trans people. Never thought about the plight. Even when you came into people who were in shows and things like that, generally speaking, they weren't trans people. They were drag queens. In other words, gay boys who dressed up for entertainment. That was kind of the thing. So, still trying to stay focused. This girl, first time she comes in the bar, they don't want to serve her. Next time she comes in there, she demands to see the manager. Or maybe it's the first time. Anyway, the manager is no more friendly than the barkeep. They don't want her in the bar because she is a trans person or she is wearing women's clothing. Next time she comes, she got treated roughly. This asshole at the bar goes and picks this girl up and throw her through double doors onto the street. That was a straight assault. And then she comes back again. And this time they call the cops on her. Manager calls the cops on her. We don't want her in here. And so they put her in jail. She's doing this out of protest, right? She's trying to force their hand, which just seems like a losing battle to me. But the point is, these people cannot have a drink in a bar without focus on the fact that she was in the bar. She's as bad, or if not worse, than she would be treated in a straight bar. So you wonder where these girls go. Well, obviously, they go to where they're accepted, where they have other people like themselves, hence Stonewall, which happened before. You know, we got to give these girls credit now. They're the first ones to stand up to the police. It's Stonewall Tavern in New York City, in that same town, considerably before that. But this town obviously has not grown up very much. So I think it's pretty awful because we call ourselves LGBT, but it's really just G. It's the only thing prevalent in most big cities. Now I know half the population is women. So where is the L? The L is the lesbians. Where are they at? Then they're not in the clubs. Then we don't mix. It's a sad state of affairs, really. Now, this is for big cities, because big cities, you have so many different options. You like a big men, you can go to big bars, bear bars, and all you see is people who look just like you, dressed just like you, and looking for the same thing. Sometimes you see these gay couples, they look like they could be twins. They dress alike, they wear the same facial hair. But if that's their thing, there's a spot for that. There's a spot for everything. After years and years and years, that bar called the Pendulum in San Francisco closed down. So now when the only black gay bar in town closed its doors, there was no other choice. So they had to split out into these other bars. So I guess they're somewhat integrated now. But, you know, small numbers. San Francisco has gotten so expensive to live in that there's not that many gay black young people living here. They still come here, you know, they live out in other suburbs and stuff and come into the city. But anyway, it's always been a separatist attitude. The way they treated that child was disgraceful. Because why is it important to you who else is in the bar having a drink? I've heard now, you know, the world's changed some. If you go to a small town or a medium-sized town, Let's say you live in not in one of the major cities. You'll go there. They only have one gay bar, right? So there, they don't have any choice, and it might be a better formula, because there you have the leather queens with the drag queens with the trans women, gay boy. Everybody's in the same place because there's only one trick in town, one horse to ride, right? So they all are forced together. They have more of a community. Given to our own devices, people tend to separate if they have the option. So anyway, Blanco, oh, Jesus Christ, it's so hard for me. Blanco was treated horribly, jailed for disobedience. The drama here was over the top, I think, because when the cops show up, usually people get a little more docile, particularly when she wasn't drunk. But she kept hammering away, being nasty to him, until he finally threw her ass in jail. All right, what they were trying to emphasize was the racism and the separatism and the discrimination shown towards trans people, even in the gay community. And I think that they did a good job. And that is very realistic, too. Because when I was in clubs, I wasn't paying attention to the plight of other people, but I don't remember seeing transgender people. It never occurred to me that they were being turned away. I just assumed they didn't go there, you know. There's all the different kind of clubs, different kind of options. I assumed that they didn't go there. Dumb assumption. Now, I've done this twice, so I don't know if I already talked about the Cardinal System. But since the 70s, shortly before, they've always had this thing where they kept black people out of these clubs by double carding them. You had to have two picture ID. Probably if you were dark enough skin, they'll want 3. They control their crowds. It's just this idea that everybody in the club has to be interested in you. You have to be interested in them. There's no like equal opportunity. They don't think in those terms. We all have to be the exact same. Sometimes you're walking down these damn streets and you see these couples and they look like twins. They wear the exact same damn thing. They have the exact same facial hair and everything around them. It looks just like them. That's their clique. Go across the street, there's a different clique. Down the street, there's another clique. But we always went to where you belonged. And that's bullshit. As I said, you're in a medium-sized city or small town. There may be only one club in town, and then you're forced to kind of mix it up together. In my experience, I'm a church queen now, which is y'all's language. I go to church, so LGBT people, we all come together, so everybody goes to the same place. So it's given me an opportunity to meet other kinds of people. Other kind of people that I'm not sexually attracted to. It's not supposed to just be all about having sex with people. Plus, these damn bars where they're trying to control everyone in the place, they ain't fucking you anyway. I mean, you have sex with everybody in the club? No. So they make it all about just this attraction thing. You got to be one of us. You got to be in this particular clique. So sad to say that I don't think things have changed that much. When they closed the black club here, people spread out, they're in different clubs and things. But even then, they separate by age group, hip hop versus club music and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of a sad state of affairs last few years. Now you go to Castro, you can at least see people working the retail, and you can see people working in the shops, working in the clubs. Before, you wouldn't even see that. It was just a sea of white. But people mixing a little more. It's been a long process, though. So in that respect, I'm kind of glad I'm not in that life anymore. So in this episode, at least, there was no win for Blanca. Last thing we saw was her getting arrested in that thing. Miss Electra come and pick her up. Miss Electra come and pick her up just because she needed competition. But maybe this show will help us start looking at each other. They have even here in this season, in time for the gay parades and all that, they have the first, I think, event is the Dyke. They call it the Dyke March. Now, this is not our language. This is not derogatory language. This is what the thing is actually called. I guess it got called that years back, and they stuck with the name Dyke March. But the next thing is Trans March. So I volunteered at this coffee shop, and there are a lot of drag queens hang out there. Drag queens in recovery. So these are not trans people. These are drag queens, people, gay boys who dress up for entertainment, right? So I asked them. I said, "Hey, ain't you guys going to the march? They're having the trans march. It's right outside. It's going right by the building." He said, "Oh no, they don't like us. They think we're making fun of them." So there's even separation between drag queens, transgenders, transsexuals. There was even division there. They didn't even mix. I never knew that. I'm learning more as you go along. So it's good that they're trying to mix in some education, some awareness into this new series pose. I think that's what I was going to say. I just want to acknowledge how badly people are treated in these communities. Castro is getting a little bit of a joke though, because in this new building boom in San Francisco, they're building all these new condos all over the city, right? The condos are bringing in the straight people. So now when you go to go out on Friday night, you see a whole lot of women and straight couples because they now live here as well. So maybe we're just moving away from this gay ghetto type situation. And maybe that's not a completely bad idea. Maybe at some point things serve the purpose, and maybe some things, old things, have to die to build new things. I'll leave it at that. I hope I made some sense there. I'm sure I rambled. Watch Pose. We'll leave it at that.